Vanderbilt now. We'll jump into that. So the Vanderbilt preview, guys, this is a big game. We'll get to the keys of the game, but let's jump into Vanderbilt. Let's talk about them for a little bit. So Vanderbilt is 46th in the country offensively in points per game with 29.5. Yards per play, 5.6, which is 59th. Third down percentage is phenomenal, and that's big key to this game for them. 51.16% of third downs converted. That is 5th in the country. Fourth down conversion rate is 16th in the country. It's 75%. And red zone scoring is 95.83%. That is 12th in the country. Yards per rush is 3.7. That is 92nd in the country. Yards per pass is 9.2, which is 10th in the country, and QB sack percentage is 5.96, which is 62nd in the country. On defense, they give up 25.8 points per game. That is 69th in the country. Yards per play is 5.9. That is 87th in the country. Yards per rush is 4.3. That is 73rd in the country. Yards per pass is 7.7, 87th in the country, and sack percentage is 6.37, which is 59th in the country for Vanderbilt. Now, let's get to Texas. 39.1 points per game, that is 11th. 6.4 yards per play, that is 20th. Third down percentage took a hit because we were terrible versus Georgia. I think we only got one. I think we're like 1 of 15, which is abysmal. 43.18%, 35th in the country. Red zone scoring, 82.76%. That is 79th in the country. 4.7 yards per rush, 49th in the country. 8.6 yards per pass, 17th in the country. And sack percentage went up. It was around 3%. It is 5.12%. 53rd in the country. Now, defensively, these numbers are going to be beautiful. 9.7 points per game, first in the country. 3.6 yards per play, first in the country. Red zone scoring, we are number 1 in the country. 3.1 yards per rush, 11th in the country. 4.5 yards per pass, first in the country. Guys, by the way, anything under 6.5 yards per pass is elite. We are 2 yards under that. And Carson Beck did 4.3. So we did worse than the average we give up, which lowered the average. 8.04%, 23rd in the country. Pressure rate's probably higher than that, honestly. So, obviously, in this game for me, Diego Pavia, gamer, gritty, as Sark said, baller, whatever you want to call the guy, that's what he is. Hard-nosed guy, used to wrestle, got in a fight with Auburn when New Mexico State beat him last year. He's been phenomenal according to Pro Football Focus, 16th best quarterback in the country, 66.2% completion percentage, 11 touchdowns to 1 interception, 9 yards per attempt, 4 yards per run with 3 touchdowns there as well. They really don't run the ball that well on a yards per play basis. Cedric Alexander, the running back, is averaging 4 yards per carry. He has 5 touchdowns on the year. He's a decent player. Nate Johnson, remember him at Utah, came in for a couple plays this year so far. He's averaging 18.5 yards per carry, but it's only 4 carries. So it's be interesting if they use him at all in this game as well. Eli Stowers, got to apologize. When I was previewing Vanderbilt and I was previewing the SEC as a whole, I clowned this guy. I said converted tight end. He did have a nice year, or converted quarterback to tight end, had a nice year at New Mexico State, but you're going to the SEC. You won't do that well. Phenomenal. He's going to be an NFL player. 33 receptions, 463 yards, gigantic human being. I think he's 6'6", 14 yards per catch. This is a legit NFL tight end. Honestly, he's probably a top 5 tight end in the country. He's that damn good. Junior Sherrill at wide receiver and Quincy Skinner are their 2 best. They each have, or Junior Sherrill has 2 touchdowns. Quincy Skinner has 1. On the defensive side of the ball, Langston Patterson is questionable. He is their best linebacker. Again, he's questionable. He has missed some time. They've also missed Miles Capers, who's probably their 2nd best pass rusher. He's missed some time as well. He could be back in this game. So those are 2 names to look out for. If they are back in this game, they will make a slight difference. Brian Longwell has stepped in and played nicely and been their best linebacker with those 2 guys out. 45 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, first on the team, and 1.5 sacks. That is tied for 2nd on the team. Nicholas Rinaldi, is number 1 on the team in sacks. At defensive end, he's a good player, 3.5 sacks. Also, look out for CJ Taylor. He's a little bit of a do-it-all player. You know who he kind of reminds me of, if anyone remembers this guy? Sua Cravens from USC, who played in the NFL with my Broncos for a little bit. He plays a little bit of tight end, a little bit of safety, a little bit of nickel. He's a really good player, really physical player as well, so watch out for CJ Taylor. To me, guys, this is very simple for Vanderbilt versus Texas. Time of possession. Time of possession. That's what it's going to come down to. I believe Vanderbilt, this is crazy, had 42 minutes of time of possession versus Alabama. 42 minutes, and they barely won that football game. You would say, looking at that number, you'd be like, damn, this team dominated. They won by 5. So they have to win time of possession. To me, it's going to be a lot like Oklahoma. They have to be about 35 minutes plus in time of possession. And the only reason Oklahoma got close to that, by the way, is because they had a garbage time drive at the end of the game that took 5 minutes. They were at 34 minutes. They were really, if you watch the flow of the game, about a 29 to 30 minute time of possession team. Vanderbilt's going to have to be 35 minutes plus to beat Texas. Honestly, to even compete. If they beat Texas, they'll probably have to be closer to 40. Third down. We just talked about that. They are the number 5 team in all of college football on converting third down. Texas defensively is phenomenal versus the third down guys. We are number 10 in the country on third down conversion rate at 28%. So just do what you do always, honestly. Stop third downs. They don't really run the football well, but they are committed to running football. Texas could take a playbook out of Vanderbilt's, be committed to running the football, and this team is. They're going to do it in multiple different ways. Read option, triple option, speed option. And then what they do out of that, they do a lot of reverses, end around, stuff like that, and they will also hit you deep. That is why Diego Pavia's number is at 9 yards per attempt, because when they do that and they commit to the run, they will hit you deep, especially with Eli Stowers getting either out of the backfield or off the line of scrimmage untouched sometimes because everyone thinks it's a run, hitting play action to him deep. So you have to be weary of that if you're Texas. It's going to be a very interesting game. To me, jump out early. Make it easy on yourself for multiple reasons. If you jump out early, they're going to have to abandon that philosophy, and it will snowball, and you'll be able to roll this team. It will not be something that will be close at the end of the day if you're able to jump out early. Number 2, if you jump out early, it would give Quinn Ewers and this offense a mental reset and a mental boost of confidence, in my opinion, which is desperately needed on the offensive side of the ball. The only way Texas loses this game, guys, is if they do exactly what they did versus Georgia, turning it over multiple times in their own territory where Vanderbilt gets easy scores. Even then, it's going to be hard for Vanderbilt to win because they'd have to convert all those into touchdowns, and I just don't see that happening. So get off to a fast start, avoid turnovers in your own area, and for the love of God, keep Vanderbilt get them off the field on third down. Do not allow them to convert third downs because they will just death by 1,000 paper cuts. That's exactly what this game will turn into if you allow them to get turnovers and also allow them to convert third downs and fourth downs because they'll probably go for it a couple times. They've been doing that a lot this year. And you can also, getting out to a fast start, and limiting Diego Pavia from getting off to a fast start would get his confidence down, guys. This is the opposite of Quinn Ewers. Diego Pavia plays with this confidence at all time, this amount of confidence. If you can hit him in the mouth and punch him a little bit and his confidence gets a little bit down here, and then the opposite for Quinn Ewers, if you can get the ball rolling, play well on offense, and the confidence starts to go up, we should win this game rather easily. Like I said, the only way I see us not winning this game is if it's a complete shit show offensively, basically the Georgia game, and then them scoring touchdowns on top of that. I just don't think our defense would allow that. I don't see that happening. Now, this is a very hard offense to plan for. It's going to be interesting how Pete Kwiatkowski adjusted this because this is really the only triple option type offense left in college football for the most part. The freaking military academies don't even do it anymore. And guess what? They probably shouldn't be doing it because it's working for them. They're both, or two of them are ranked. And there's a good chance one of them probably makes the college football playoff. So very interesting game. We'll jump into your comments and questions before I get to my prediction here. Take it from a longtime SEC guy in common sense. Texas hasn't seen and doesn't practice against the triple option regularly. Fair. Vandy can win this. They're not winning this game. Can win this game if Texas linebackers don't play sound. Even if they don't play super sound, they're not. They just, guys, our defense is so much better than Alabama, and Vanderbilt had the ball for 42. Again, I don't think people realize this, 42 minutes to 18 minutes and only won the game by 5 points. I just don't see them replicating that. And I've talked about this. The way Vanderbilt plays, guys, it's very easy to get blown out. If you're not not converting third downs, and if you also have a turnover or two, you're going to get blown out. That's what's going to happen. So if Texas can turn them over and not turn the ball over themselves, they can blow this team out. I really believe that. But it will definitely be harder than old Vanderbilt teams. This is still a good, solid football team. They're like a 6-6, 7-5 team. That's what they are. They're not anything more than that. If you think they're anything more than that, you're crazy. It will be like the 2022 Texas Tech game. I mean, not really, because that's a completely different scheme. But if you're talking about are you talking about the end result or how the end result happened? But scheme-wise, they're not. They're actually complete opposite scheme-wise. I agree. I agree with. Pavia is a chainsaw that is not going to stop for 4 quarters. I don't disagree with that. I just don't think they have enough weapons to challenge us in the secondary when they have to. I really find it hard to believe Texas is going to get the ball run down their throat, because that's what it's going to take, and I just don't see that happening. Quinn looks cool, but I wonder if he knows what is going on sometimes. I mean, that's a possibility. Texas needs to and can jump out to a big lead. Completely agree with that. Beating Vandy now is getting ahead and staying ahead. Completely agree. You do not want to get in a fourth quarter game with this team. You do not. You want to avoid that at all costs, especially with the way our mental is at the quarterback position right now. Like Quinn Ewers' mental stability in a fourth quarter game versus this team versus Diego Pavia's mental stability in a fourth quarter game, you can't get in a fourth quarter game. Or it could be the 2022 Kansas game. For the love of God, don't remind me of that game. It won't be that high scoring. Could it be? If Vanderbilt wins, it's going to look 23-20, 24-20, 21-17. It's going to look something like that. Like, you're going to have limited opportunities. Texas is going to have, if Vanderbilt plays the way they want to play, we'll have 50 to 60 plays. Now, if we can push that into the 70s, we'll win this game. The second most likely options of outcomes are 20% Vandy, 35 Texas, 34, or 80% Tech. Yeah, I'm not going to say we'd blow them up by that much, but it's a possibility for sure. I just don't see us pushing the ball down the field enough to create enough explosive plays to blow them out that much. And let's get into it, guys. Drop your predictions in the comments below. I'm going to have mine come up on the screen right now. I have Texas winning this game 33-14. So, honestly, Texas is favored by 19. I wouldn't touch the line. And I would not take the over. I'd take the under here. I'd definitely take the under. I feel confident about that. I have no clue about the spread. When it was at 16, guys, I would have taken Texas because I feel confident in a 17-point victory. But anything more than like 20 to me is the max I could see us winning this game by. I don't see us winning by more than, I take it back. I don't see us winning by anything more than 21 points. I just don't see that. I don't see anything more than 21 points here. I don't think it's possible at the pace this game is going to be played at. I don't think Vanderbilt shoots themselves in the foot very often, at least turnovers-wise, penalties-wise. They do commit a decent amount of penalties. So we'll have to see here, but that is my prediction for this game. So I really appreciate you guys being here.